We're live. We're live. And oh boy, has it been a fun day. We got quite a bit going on. Specifically, with the Critical K lawsuit, we finally have a resolution for that. We finally have the judgment. We know there was a default judgment granted in that. And we have this whole thing, excuse me, we have this whole thing that happened. Kay is trying to play it off and ignore it. We know what her plan is. I wish I had found the clip she had made where she was going to go 100%. She was going to go out and she was going to file for bankruptcy. That was her plan. If she lost, when she lost, she was going out. She was going to file for bankruptcy. And I couldn't find that clip, unfortunately. Kind of disconcerting. But we do have, finally, a resolution. We know how much Rae Andreacchio was going to be given. And guess what? Yep. It's roughly what I expected it to be. It's roughly what I expected it to be. Long story short, 6 figures. I was pretty sure it was going to be 6 figures. I thought it was going to be low 6 figures. Would be surprised if she got the full 7 figures that Rae Andreacchio had requested. Well, I was expecting high 5, maybe low 6 figures, but here we are. So mid 6 figures. But before we get into that, we have some hilarity going on. And since I am a gaming channel as well, maybe not on this channel, but since we are a, since I am a gaming channel, I figured we'd take a look at arguably one of the funnier things that's happening right now. I made this coffee poorly today. Didn't put enough chocolate liqueur in it. Anyways, so we're going to be taking a look at some of the comments that have been made over the Critical K lawsuit over the past over the past day or two. This judgment came out yesterday. I didn't check Pacer, like the one day I don't check Pacers when it comes down, which doesn't surprise me if I'm being honest, because this happened with the default judgment as well. I didn't check Pacer that day, and it came down, and I was like, oh, well, fuck, I'm behind the times. So, hey, I'm behind the times here. Excuse me. But I was working yesterday, too, and I feel like crap. I've started phase 3 on my medication, an experimental medication, to handle my mental retardation. That's a joke. It's not that. But anyways, I'm just under the weather. I really am. Like, you can hear it. I feel it. I am off my game. I actually had to see my doctor before this started for an emergency. And he gave me a freaking shot. And I'm feeling better, but I'm not 100%. But I am a gaming channel. And gosh darn it, Diablo frickin' 4 has been an absolute shit show. Let's go over here. So, Diablo 4 has been a shit show for pretty much everybody. Everybody playing the game. It's lackluster. No end game. It's very, very, let's really quickly. I apologize. We need to transform this because I am going to rotate or flip horizontally. There we go. Excuse me. So it's been an absolute crap show. It's been terrible. People are tired of it. There's nothing going on. It's incredibly boring. And the new season, which is something really Path of Exile started. Every couple of months you get a new season, which is supposed to reinvigorate the player base to come back and play the game. And pretty much every game nowadays is doing it. Call of Duty, Battlefield, all of them are pretty much doing something like this. And this, Diablo, is actually very predatory in how they're handling this stuff. Diablo is actually very subpar throughout all of this. And one of the things that they did is if you pre-ordered Diablo 4, you got a premium battle pass that Blizzard said you could use on future seasons if you didn't want to use it for season 1, because maybe season 1 isn't your forte. Maybe you don't have the time to give to it. Well, they put the fucking activate premium battle pass button right next to a button to check your season journey. And a bunch of people, when they go to hit the season journey button, instead they're hitting the activate premium battle pass button, and it's a one-click activation. You don't get a chance to stop it. And Activision is not going to fucking undo that because it is predatory. They don't want you to save the premium battle pass for another season. They want you to buy another battle pass for future seasons. So we're going to watch Ruriken as he realizes what just happened. Let's watch. Let's watch and listen.
See if it counted. No!
What?
No!
Something went wrong with the game. The game actually
if that thing activated,
crashes when he does it.
you gotta be. I have to constantly go to that fucking menu.
You do. You have to go.
You
to
gotta
the
be
menu
shitting
constantly.
me. I think I activated my premium battle pass.
That's how they get you.
It is. It really is.
They put your whole grocery list on the same page as the season pass.
Exactly. So that you click the fucker, bro.
Did you make it crash, or did the game actually just crash?
The game actually just crashed. I hope it crashed and it didn't activate it. Like, if that's a one-click activation, fuck you, dude.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Premium battle pass activated.
Fuck you!
There you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
What a fucking scam, dude.
Look at that. I would be pissed if I saw that happen. I would be.
What?
So that's what happens. This game is predatory. It is Activision Blizzard. AAA game companies are doing this stuff. You pay for a premium game. You paid $60 for Diablo, right? Or you pay more because you want the battle pass or whatever. And then the company comes out and they go, oh, we're going to do this because we want you to buy more stuff with predatory microtransactions. That's what this has become. So, so you got that going on. You got PC Gamer going after Diablo 4. The devs, they had their campfire chat. And holy crap, the PC Gamer is going after you for how shitty your game is. You're done. You're fucking done. Just do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You're done. So, you got that going on. I would be pissed if I was Ruriken. And he was pissed. He's already apparently uninstalled the game. He's done. So that should tell you. But I ended up having a conversation with someone. Well, let's get into the critical K now. Okay, let's get into it. That's all I really wanted to talk about in terms of the. Oh, I should point this out. So Sen, Mr. Sen, on YouTube. Pedophile extraordinaire. And I say that because he was caught sending literal dick in little girl lolly to a catfisher. We're not talking like, oh, innocent lolly, oh, she's adorable. I'm talking nude dick in little girl lolly to a catfisher, okay? Well, apparently he's now reporting tweets that are talking about it. This came from 2021. This now has a content warning. I'm not going to play it, right? So you got this going on, hooray! But he's now reporting it, and who else is going to be reporting it? Let's make this very clear. Who else is going to be reporting it? I got a notification earlier today. It's something from 2021. Would have had to have come. I've gotten 2 tweets in the entirety of my being on Twitter. 2 tweets that have had sensitive content warnings put on them. One is this, the other is the fair and balanced, literally showing her ass, and that's understandable. Nobody wants to see it. And I guess nobody wants to see this too. But obviously, I know who reports these things, right? I know who does it. So, anyways, I had this conversation with Lillian London. Okay. And Lillian London is somebody who follows Critical K. And 14 hours ago, I guess after the decision came down, she goes, I just want to make this clear. I am aware that people have strong opinions about Critical K. I don't know her personally, but I won't tolerate people who turn the comment section of my tweets into a subforum about her lawsuit. As far as I know, nobody was doing that, okay? As far as I know, nobody was doing that. Maybe Kay was like, oh, people are going to go after you because, we follow each other and shit like that. Maybe. I don't know. But it was kind of interesting to see that pop up. And I'm going to come over here. I'm on my second account because of Kay. Give me 1 sec. I need to open this up. Okay, so I got the second account going. Bring it up. So here it is. And Kay does respond to this. Now, Kay has me blocked on my main account. That's why I have the second account to see it, because she likes to talk a bunch of shit. That's how I know, even to this day, she's still referring to myself, Nick Ricada, and whatnot as pedophiles. Ken Jennings, Kiwi Farms Ken Jennings, referring to us as pedophiles because we talked about the Sophie Long case, right? That's how I still know. Bold move, Cotton. We'll see how it plays out. Actually, we won't. I'm going to be honest with you. So, Kay came out in response to this, and she's like, just block the people tagging you, please. Lily says, oh, I did. Unfortunately, blocking doesn't stop people from tagging you. Just another Twitter screw up that doesn't make any sense. Yes, it's, I'm blocked by Kay. I can still tag Kay. Kay's not going to get notifications that I tagged her and stuff, right? So I responded and I said, it doesn't stop people from tagging you. No, but it does prevent you from being spammed with notifications. Kay has me blocked because I talked about the case, but I still tag her so people don't think I'm subtweeting or being passive aggressive. Lily responds, it's just annoying that people can block you but still tag you as well. Kay says, same, which is why historically I avoided this platform. It's shoddy and annoying to operate and connect with work people and add in the sheer amount of fake names, accounts, etc., which is really funny because Kay has something like 10 other accounts because she keeps getting shadow banned for, I don't want to use the term, but for what Twitter calls it, harassment, right? She would spam tag people, or she would post stuff that was, quite frankly, harassing to people she didn't like. She literally has like 10 other accounts, and then she has other accounts that have been banned. So she is literally saying shit like this. She hasn't been posting to Twitter because people have been talking about her case. That's it. That right there is it. Period. End of discussion. My response was, my first response, I should say, is you can view the tweets if you block to find out what they're tagged in or what you're tagged in. I think the advanced search feature makes it a bit easier if you can navigate, right? If you can navigate that clusterfuck, but you can see what you're tagged in. And then like 30 minutes later, I'm like, I just realized you said if they block you. So I didn't catch that. So Lily had no idea what was going on in the case. Kay doesn't want her to look into what's being said in the case, what's going on in the case. So I responded. Lily says, from what I understand, this case was going on for a while. I'm not really familiar with the case. I think a teenager did die. I got suddenly tagged in connection with it. Why would she have been tagged? I don't know. I'd love to see the tag. I should have probably gone and found what she was talking about. I didn't. Maybe I should have. But I responded. I responded to her and I said, the teenager did die, yes. Officially, it's labeled as a suicide because, yes, Rae Andreacchio is labeled as a suicide. Rae Andreacchio, his mother, thinks it's something else. She thinks it's something completely different. It's not a suicide. Kay streamed about it, made comments about the mother as a healthcare professional. She alluded to the fact that another patient of Rae Andreacchio had passed, and then made a comment about the only connecting factor in the entire thing was Rae Andreacchio. She also accused the mother, who has been trying to find out, quote, the truth, end quote, insofar as if it was truly a suicide. The mother thinks it's a murder and a conspiracy. Don't ask me, because I don't understand it, but hey, whatever. Of engaging in bribery and plying underage individuals with alcohol, both of which are crimes. The mother, Rae Andreacchio, filed a lawsuit for defamation against Kay specifically for these statements. Accusations of crimes are defamatory per se. Kay refused to take part in the proceedings. It actively bragged about ignoring the court's orders, such as to attend pretrial conferences. She was also hostile towards the attorney of the plaintiff, since she was belligerent in this regard the entire time. Judgment was granted against her, and now Kay is in a race against time to follow through on her promise to declare bankruptcy, because the Fifth Circuit, which Mississippi is in the Fifth Circuit, doesn't allow you to discharge intentional torts via bankruptcy. An intentional tort is defamation. It is you went out of your way to actually... Sorry, I'm turning off the AC. The Fifth Circuit doesn't allow you to stop or to discharge in bankruptcy these intentional torts. So she is in a race against time. Rae has to move to have the judgment validated to collect in Michigan. Michigan is in the Sixth Circuit, not the Fifth Circuit. It's not a guarantee. They have to go through this entire thing. Obviously, Rae's going to get that. Rae can stay any bankruptcy proceeding pending validation of the judgment within the Sixth Circuit. As I said, Kay's now in a race against time, a race she will lose. Okay? She's going to lose that race. And then I just said, now you're caught up. I have no intention of shooting up your profile or anything like that going after Kay. But you say you didn't know what was going on. So I'm just offering what the court found to be the facts of the case. And I was. Okay? That's all I'm doing. So we'll come over here. And this is a Facebook dedicated specifically to Michael Long, Sophie Long's father, and the Critical K. And there are posts that have been made. For example, Mandy Matney says Rae Andreacchio was awarded the following judgment in her defamation case against Karen Yax. And yes, this is the proper amount. So now you can tune out if you want, but I'm going to read over the decision, the judgment, and everything as I am wont to do. We're also going to go over a brief history. I know I've done this before, but this is the end of it unless she appeals. She's not going to appeal. She isn't going to appeal. So this is the end of it. So I feel like we can actually go over this a little more. We covered this case in last week's episode of True Sunlight, but this is a huge win for victims facing harassment and defamation. Critical K spread baseless theories and rumors about Christian Andreacchio's death. Not about the death itself. She spread baseless accusations against Rae Andreacchio. That's what the case is about. Not necessarily about what she said about Christian's death. It was specifically about what she said about Rae. So, incorrect on that, right? Incorrect. So, Mandy is right and wrong, erring more on the side of wrong, but it's more ignorance and not maliciousness, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not an attorney. I am ignorant on many parts of the law, but even I knew that much. You know, our boy Uncivil Law rather did talk to Matt Wilson, who I did have a conversation 2 or 3 months with Matt. It was about something, and I can't remember what it was about. There was something that was about if she had shown up to, I think it was the March hearing. I think it was the March hearing, if she had shown up, because that hadn't popped up on anything that I had seen. Matt confirmed that she hadn't. So that's the only conversation I had with Matt Wilson, the attorney. Apparently he does watch me. Don't fucking know why. He did make mention of, and like some of the stuff I was saying He did correct me on one thing because I said it was I think it had to do with I said something about the magistrate. I think I said the magistrate had signed off on something when it was actually the district judge. He corrected me on that. But anyways, that's the only conversation I ever had with Matt. He seems like a good guy. But, you know, Kurt did have a conversation with Matt, and I'd love to have a conversation with him, but I'm not an attorney. I'm some random schmuck on the internet. I'm some layman on the internet talking about this, right? Renee Barfoot is the woman who put in an affidavit talking about how Kay was bragging in her, I think it was it Instagram? I think it was an Instagram group chat about not showing up to that hearing, or maybe it was the October hearing, and how she was asking the court to sanction her, right? And Critical K posting stuff like this. It's always amusing when bullies declare themselves bullied. Laughing emoji. You know, the thing K did. K would bully people. I'm using that term very loosely. K was part of a screeching of Karens, right? A screeching of Karens that would harass people over the Sophie Long case, myself included. I didn't care. I put them in their place, and they didn't like that. Neither here nor there. But she says something like this, says to Rae Andreacchio, Rae, you've never met a motherfucker like me. And then in the filing, she says, I'm being bullied. Learned fucking nothing. Has absolutely no self-awareness, right? And she says stuff like that. The crazy plain lady theory. This is the lady who said that, like there was a woman or a guy, I can't remember what it was, but they were a lizard person or something like that. And let me tell you, she's pretty hot. It's really creepy because, like, I saw her. I'm dead serious. I saw her. I thought she was a fucking lieutenant I knew in the Marines like 15 years ago. She looked exactly like her. It was unfucking canny. It was unfucking canny. It was like, oh, is that her? No, it wasn't. It wasn't. But yeah, she's pretty good looking. So it's not a coincidence. She's adorable and sexy. She's pretty sexy, don't get me wrong. I'm not one for blondes normally. She's pretty sexy. I think something happened with someone she was sitting by. Clearly, something had her very agitated. Cute girls experience life differently, and I don't mean to offend by saying that. You don't know unless you experience it. We are ogled, followed, and picked up on, and openly flirted with, which I don't mind personally, and even at times harassed, because Kay thinks that she's a catch, and if you've seen her, holy shit, she hit that wall harder than I did. Like, she didn't hit that wall. She was a full-on fucking crash test dummy. That's how hard she hit the fucking wall. I just thought that was funny. There's K ain't a catch. So yeah. So I just found those posts funny when I saw this. Okay, anyways, let's get back to Chrome. So we had that. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to this. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to this. Who's ready? Who is fucking ready? So, final default judgment. Having resolved all the claims in this case because a default judgment was granted against Kay in favor of Rae Andreacchio, so there's no disputing fact anymore. You had a chance to dispute the facts. You told the court to fuck off. You don't get to dispute the facts now. All of this is factual. Unless you appeal and win the appeal, you won't. Congratulations. You have now been adjudicated guilty, I'm using that term loosely, of having defamed Rae Andreacchio. For the reasons stated in the court's prior orders, Judgment is hereby entered in favor of plaintiff Rae Andreacchio against defendant Karen Yax in the amount of $501,000. Interest shall run on this amount at an annual rate of 5.36% from today until the judgment is satisfied. So what that means is that's the federal annual rate for interest under the judgment. So, I'm not good with math. I'm gonna very basically break it down. But if I'm reading it correctly, if I did the math correctly, let's really quickly, let's open a calculator. Okay. So we got 501,000 times 0.0. We'll go with 0.5. Okay. We'll go with 0.5, right? Times 0.05. It comes out to about $25,000. So for every year she doesn't pay it, after the first year, if she pays nothing on this, the judgment amount she has to pay goes up by $25,000. So really quickly, after the second year, it's $526 times 0.05. The second year she doesn't pay. It's now $26,000, and it keeps going up. So yes, this will very quickly increase in the amount that she is paying. Oops. Fucking oops. Probably should have spent a bit of money right now to go handle it. It would have been a lot cheaper than having a $500,000 fucking judgment against you if you had taken care of it now. Because there was a good case you could have made that improper jurisdiction. You could have made the case. I don't think it would have mattered. You did put yourself within the jurisdiction, but you could have made the case. You could have settled, and I'm not big on settling if you didn't do anything wrong. I want to make that very clear. If it's a frivolous case, maybe don't settle, right? I know a lot of people like to use, you should settle, it'll be cheaper. Look, if you're right and you can afford it, don't settle. It might be cheaper, for example, for Nick Rekieta to settle the case right now with Montegraph, but Monty really doesn't have a case, in my opinion. There's one thing he might have a case on, but the context, once put into the record, might make that moot. So, maybe take it to trial, maybe go from there. It might be cheaper than a $500,000 judgment, but I think that what you'll end up seeing is that the things that Kay had said, I think she would have lost a trial. I'm a thirsty boy, Spectre. Context not guaranteed. It is not guaranteed. It is not. How to contact Spectre? Really easy to attend via Zoom in Michigan. Yeah, and one of the first pretrial hearings that she had to attend, she was given permission to appear by Zoom, and she didn't show up to it. So the court, in the following pretrial hearings, was like, hey, guess what, bitch? Now you have to show up in person. Oops. See, the court gave her the ability to make it cheaper. And she decided to say, fuck you. And so the court was like, oh, okay, now it gets more expensive. Oops. And then she cries, I can't believe you're making it more expensive for me. You should make it cheaper. No. You were given a cheap option. You chose not to go through with it. Why does the court have to play to you now? You had options. You chose not to. Definitely won't be appealed. No, she doesn't have the money for it. Good faith wasn't shown because she didn't show up. Oh no, there was no good faith on her part. The only thing she could possibly appeal feasibly is the court making the decision on lack of jurisdiction. or saying that it has jurisdiction. Maybe she could appeal the court's decision to not let her show up to the hearings remotely. But that's not going to fly because the response from Rae Andreacchio's attorney is she was given in her first fucking hearing the ability to show up remotely and she didn't. Now we have to make sure that she showed up. Court's going to go with that. I don't think she has a case for jurisdictional issues. She could appeal it. I don't think she will. Prediction on Mellengraph's case. Jury trial. Yeah, it's he's gonna go with the jury trial if he gets to that point. I think the judge has made it clear that summary judgment will be reconsidered after discovery. I think summary judgment's going to be given in favor of Nick at that point. My personal opinion is Monty and Schneider do not want this to go to trial. I don't think they want it to go to trial. Because after watching Little Piggy and the Umbrella Man, the jury renders a death sentence to Monty. I don't know about that, but, maybe. The judge reminds them they can't do that and dismisses them. I don't know. It might be like that episode of Family Guy, where it's like, what was it? Like, Peter gets a prostate exam and he creates this whole fiction and he's like, and the judge is like, Mr. Griffin, I've had a prostate exam before and I don't remember that happening. And Peter looks up at him and goes, really, Judge? Is that really? Are you sure you remembered it correctly? And then goes to a black and white thing where they're on like a boat and the doctor comes out. He's talking like a pirate. Relax, I be a doctor. And, the judge gavels like a bunch of times, goes guilty, 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 guilty. It could be something like that. That could happen. But I'm just saying. I don't think that'll happen. I'm going through divorce with MS in Michigan. I chose Zoom to be there. I don't know when my legs will work. Let's do this via Zoom so I don't get fucked. Large logic. Yeah. Speaking of divorce, I will not be surprised if we find out that Karen's husband decides to divorce her because apparently he has a good paying job, a good paying union job. He's not going to want money being taken away from him because of her stupidity. Ain't going to happen. He's not going to want that to happen. I will not be surprised if we see a divorce in her near future. It was the dumbest decision she could have made, and I mean that. It was the stupidest set of decisions she could have made. And she's still going to say that she's a fucking victim. She's still going to say that she's a fucking victim in all of this. Sorry, I started to zone out there. The medicine sucks. I'm not even, it's not even safe for me to like bike right now or to walk. I'm just out of it. I can't even walk my neighbor's dog. I don't know if I'm going to be able to walk my neighbor's dog tonight. Normally I do that for him. He's like 75 years old. His dog used to go out at night. I usually do it for him because I love that dog and that dog loves me and I will steal that dog. But anyways, the point is, right? So, anyways, she made all the wrong decisions and now we're here. And she's going to continue to say that she's the victim in all of this. The court does not believe that you are the victim. Stupid decisions are what Karen Cracks does best. Yeah, Karen, stupid decisions. Her oldest child apparently has nothing to do with her. Actually, he and his wife have a restraining order against her, from what I understand. I don't know. I do know that they have apparently cut off all contact with her. They want nothing to do with her. And so she's SOL there, which is really funny because she loves to go after other people for being bad parents, right? Like she likes to go after Alyssa for being a bad mother or some shit like that. And then it turns out that Karen is a worse mother. Confession through projection, right? It's sad, but not. Zoom and the consequences would probably be less. Yeah, it would have been. It would have been a lot easier if she had just done what she had to do early on. She didn't. Now here she is. She's been adjudged, for lack of a better term, guilty of having defamed Rae Andreacchio. Oops. And now, whenever she goes after somebody else, right, this is the first thing people will bring up if they know anything about Karen. Aren't you a known liar? Didn't a court find you guilty of lying? Boom. You know, I have a guy who's going after me now, and he admits that he lied on some paperwork. He admits he's a felon and that he lied on some paperwork. Oops. But he can go after you. You can trust everything he says now, guys. You can trust. Fucking idiot. Right. And that's like not even the worst thing he's done legally. Anyways, so let's go over to the judgment itself. So, seems silly, but I pray for her kids. Hugs to them. Yeah, you know, the kids are really in all of this, aside from Rae Andreacchio, Karen's kids are the real victims in all of this. I just want to put that out there. They're the real victims in all of this. You know, there's no sins of the father thing with me. I don't agree with it. So, all right. So the order. This matter, it's not a long one. It's 6 pages. This matter is before the court to determine an appropriate amount of damage on plaintiff Rae Andreacchio's tort claims against defendant Karen Yax. Keep in mind that in May, I think it was May 2nd, or was it May 30th? It was one of them. It was sometime in May. They had a hearing to determine the damages. Remember that Rae was asking for $1 million in damages. I said at the time I would be very surprised if she got $1 million in damages. I didn't see that happening. I said 5, maybe 6. You know, I would be, if they were to get 6, I would think it'd be on the lower end of 6 figures. Not really seeing mid 6 figures, but hey, here we are. Boom, 500,000. The factual allegations set forth in the well-pleaded complaint and need not be recited at length. They are taken as true for present purposes. Again, she had a chance to refute them. She had a chance to actually refute them, and she didn't. So for the purposes of everything, what Rae alleges is considered factual and true. The short version is this. On her internet webcast, Yax accused Andreacchio, a healthcare provider, of committing bribery and contributing to the untimely deaths of Andreacchio's son and one of Andreacchio's patients. These statements, false, defamatory, unprivileged, actionable, and highly offensive, meet the standards set forth in Mississippi law for defamation, specifically slander. I'm not going into it. And false light invasion of privacy. Each statement was also made with actual malice, that is, with knowledge that it was false, or with reckless disregard of whether it was false or not, while entertaining subjective doubt as to the truth of the statement. Again, had she actually shown up, she could have argued that. She could have made the argument that Rae Andreacchio, for the purposes of this, was a limited purpose public figure. She could have made that argument. Set the bar higher for Rae to make her case. Defamation is really difficult to prove in the United States, for good reason. The First Amendment exists, right? It's not saying that defamation doesn't exist. It's saying we're going to require you to actually prove your case, right? And we give the defense a lot of leeway. A lot. Because of the First Amendment. If she had gone, she could have made the argument that for the purposes of this, right? For the purposes of this, she's a limited purpose public figure, and lay out all the history of what Rae Andreacchio has done in this entire thing, because Rae has done a lot to try to get to go after people she thinks are covering up her son's death, right? Again, she thinks he was murdered and that's a conspiracy. He didn't commit suicide. That's what she thinks. Kay, actually, I think, would have had a very strong position to take that she's a limited purpose public figure. All right, now the bar, which is already high, goes even higher because it's not enough to say this is defamatory. You now have to prove that there was actual malice behind it. Either Kay knew it was not true and said it anyways, or she had a reckless disregard as to the veracity, as to the truth, which means she didn't care if it was true or not. But she didn't. And here we are. Again, she had a lot of things going for her, and she didn't. You're starting to see what I'm putting down. It's all because of Karen and the decisions she made that she's at this point. Because it's not Rae's fault. Rae tried to work with her multiple times. Rae actually tried to kind of take care of this without having to take it to trial. At every step of the way, Karen was belligerent. Karen was intentionally provocative towards Matt Wilson, the attorney for Rae Andreacchio. And it got to the point that Rae said to Matt, you know what, we're done. We tried playing nice. She doesn't want to play with us. Fine. We're going to do the bare minimum that the court requires, and we'll see her at trial. And when Kay was told this, she turns around and says, Your Honor, they aren't working with me now. This proves that the case is fraudulent. This proves, Your Honor, that the case is vexatious. Because I pissed them off enough that they no longer want to work with me because I acted like a bitch the entire time, was intentionally antagonistic. When they were trying to work with me, they were trying to be cool with me. They were trying to. And I said, fuck off. I'm the victim here. They should put up with my bullshit. And now that they're not going to, Your Honor, you have to dismiss it. It's clearly vexatious. Right? Again, it's a narcissistic tendency. It's a narcissistic personality trait to be the bully, get a negative reaction from somebody, then turn around and say, no, this isn't because of me. It's actually because they don't understand me. They don't want to work with me. They don't want to give me what I want. They're the bad guys. Exactly, Puffer. Everyone's fault but mine. It can't be my fault. I'm the special person here. I'm the special person here. Karen doesn't understand that she don't fucking matter in the grand scheme of things. Just like I don't fucking matter. Rae doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. We are nothing but a speck on this planet. Karen is fucking nothing. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is the point. Okay? This right here is the point. Everybody's fault but mine. I cannot be held responsible for what I have done. Your Honor, you have to make them work with me. Court goes, nope, you don't want to work with them. We're done here. Well, if it isn't the fucking consequences of my own fucking actions. And again, she's a victim. Or what I showed you? She finds it funny when bullies say that they're actually being bullied. No self-reflection there. No self-awareness. That's what makes it fucking funny to me. The court held an evidentiary hearing on damages on May 25th, 2023. Okay, it was May 25th. I knew it was in May. And then I think May 30th may have been when they turned in all the documentation they relied upon, and that was uploaded to Pacer. Andreacchio testified under oath about the harm Yax's false statements caused her. She confirmed for jurisdictional purposes the relationship between those statements had with the state of Mississippi. Andreacchio then provided, as a point of reference, a decision by Judge Sampson awarding $75,000 damages to a victim of defamation. Yax did not appear at the hearing despite this court's express invitation. She was invited to attend. She wasn't mandated to attend. She was invited to attend. She was basically told, we know you're not going to show up, but we'll put the invitation out there anyways. Because this case is proceeding in diversity, the applicable substantive law is that of the forum state, Mississippi. State law is determined by looking to the decisions of that state's highest court. In Mississippi, compensatory damages are such damages as will compensate the injured party for the injury sustained and nothing more. Such as will simply make good or replace the loss caused by the wrong or injury. What that means is that you are being compensated monetarily for the damages to your reputation, because the court really can't give you your reputation back, right? That damage is done. The court could come out and go, we find it all to be defamatory, but there are still people who are going to be like, that's cool, I still believe it. The point of this is they can't force you to retract what you have said. Court really can't force you to. In very rare circumstances, maybe it could, but as a general rule, courts can't make you say it. So they go, here's money, right? They say to the plaintiff, here's money to compensate you for the damage that's been done. Oh, you also have this judgment that says everything that was said about you was a lie. But a lot of people who may have heard about this already have it set in their mind about what is true and what isn't, and there's really no way to change their mind. You could show them this and say, hey, it's 6 pages, read it, and somebody's going to be like TLDR, right? They're not going to read it. And there's nothing you can do to change their mind. Maybe they don't like you, or maybe they just like Karen. I don't know why, but maybe they do. I don't fucking know. It's going to happen. Like it or not, it's going to happen. So the purposes of compensatory damages is this is what we believe the defamatory statements have done to you in terms of your professional and personal life. Remember, she's a healthcare provider. I think she's a nurse practitioner. I thought she was a therapist, but apparently she's a nurse practitioner. One of the statements that Karen said is one of Rae's patients had committed suicide. And then she made the bridge, lacking factual background. She made the statement that, guess what? The only thing connecting these two suicides is Rae Andreacchio. Really? That would hurt, a health practitioner's reputation. That would hurt it. That would hinder it. So that's what compensatory damage is. Damages for emotional distress alleged in connection with intentional tortious conduct may be recovered, even when the plaintiff has experienced no physical injury. The standard considers whether the defendant's behavior is malicious, intentional, willful, wanton, grossly careless, indifferent, or reckless. So emotional damage is basically, did you see a therapist, stuff like that. You generally have to be able to prove it, like with doctor's records, how much you paid out to see a therapist or whatnot. But there are times when you don't have to do that. I'm not going to go into it because I really don't understand. I've never really looked into it. Let's see. In those cases where mental or emotional distress is foreseeable result of the conduct of the defendant, a court can assess damages for mental and emotional distress. Basically, if what the defendant said was so bad that a reasonable person could see emotional distress, then the court could go, yeah, I think there was. I think that exists here because your conduct is just that fucking bad. So, there you go. Because the active statement imputed the guilt or commission of some criminal offense involving moral turpitude and infamous punishment, and imputed a want of integrity or capacity, whether mental or pecuniary, in the conduct of a profession, trade, or business, they were actionable per se and need no special harm, meaning that the defamation itself, it's assumed to be defamatory, it's assumed there's damages, we just have to determine how much damage was done. The Speed Court, for example, noted that being called a thief can be actionable per se because the crime is a significant criminal act. It pointed to Valley Dry Goods v. Buford, which a Mississippi jury awarded a cashier $5,000 for slander after a manager falsely accused her of stealing $100. To place those sums in context, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics says that $5,000 in 1917 has the same buying power as $130,388 today. $100 then is equivalent to $2,600 now. In this case, Andreacchio testified about the emotional distress that Yax's statements caused. For a parent to be accused of contributing to their child's death is its own kind of pain, and it is. Having that broadcast to thousands of people amplifies that pain. Knowing that tens of thousands of people had watched Yax's false statements, Andreacchio said, makes you very paranoid. It makes you feel very uncomfortable in public. Quote, you don't know who's listening and who's believing what she's saying, or who knows that what she's saying is crazy. And so you do become very isolated and you don't go out to eat. You don't go do things that you normally did because you don't really know where everybody stands that's around you, end quote. The court heard testimony about how Yax profited from her false statements. Perhaps the worst part, Andreacchio said, is that Yax offered to share Andreacchio's son's autopsy photos with strangers on the internet, which caused probably the most upset just knowing that people had, his pictures where he's naked and he's cut open and all that. I don't know if she actually had them. I can't comment if she did. Andreacchio explained at length the effects Yax's statements had on her life and in her community. After the webcast, people filed complaints about Andreacchio with the Mississippi Board of Nursing, which opened an investigation and found nothing. So, as a direct cause of her statements, many of Karen Yax's followers filed complaints about Rae Andreacchio. That's damages right there. Right there. That's reputational fucking harm. It's no different than, Duncan MacLeod or, what's his name? Alexandra Caballo or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, it's no different than when they go out and they go, hey, this person, you need to file reports against Nick Rekieta. You need to file ethics complaints. He can't do anything to you. Oh, by the way, they didn't file the complaints because they knew they were bullshit and they weren't going to waste their time. But they had other people do it. As far as I know, Karen never told people to go out and do it. These individuals told people to file them against Nick. So, we could blame them for what the people did. We can't blame Karen for what people who follow her may have done. And I'm not going to. I'll make that very clear. They accused her of embezzlement via complaints filed with the Mississippi Secretary of State, which commenced its own investigation and again found nothing. That's interesting. I didn't know that part. For a sense of how baseless these accusations were, listeners even accused Andreacchio of overprescribing opiates, a class of drug that Andreacchio does not prescribe. How would they even fucking know? That if Karen had said that she was overprescribing opiates, that in and of itself is fucking defamatory in this day and age. And the question becomes, how would she know? She's not a patient. How would she fucking know? Again, defamation. The court finds Andreacchio's testimony compelling. The mental and emotional toll Yax's false statements have taken on Andreacchio was obvious at the hearing. Being accused of bribing witnesses is one thing. Being accused of contributing to your child's own death is another altogether. Yax's false statements caused real harm and warrant damages. That is a judge who is pissed. That judge is fucking pissed. And it's coming out in this entire document. The above cited cases on Mississippi emotional distress awards reveal a range of compensatory damages granted in a range of factual situations. The court has also reviewed the Mississippi Supreme Court's decision in Stewart v. Gulf Guardian Life Insurance, which reinstated a jury verdict of $500,000 in compensatory damages for severe emotional distress caused by the denial of an insurance claim. The calculation of damages cannot be reduced to a mathematical formula. Plaintiffs, like defendants in a criminal sentencing hearing, are individuals and must be treated as such after considering all the circumstances. Indeed, it has been uniformly constant in the federal judicial tradition for the sentencing judge to consider every convicted person as an individual, in every case as a unique study in the human failings that sometimes mitigate, sometimes magnify the crime and the punishment to ensue. For that matter, no sum of money can truly make a harmed person whole. That's what I said earlier. Finders of fact are nevertheless obliged to determine a dollar amount to approximate the goal. An award of monetary damages is simply the means by which our system of justice seeks to repair some of the loss and harm inflicted upon the victim and the victim's family. And the relevant cases illustrate ranges from which reasonable damages can be discerned. In this case, the court believes that the evidence supports an award of compensatory damages between those identified in Buford and Stewart. It assesses compensatory damages at $325,000. The next issue is punitive damages. This court has been mindful of case law indicating that Mississippi fact finders err when they are influenced by egregious, outrageous, and obviously intentional nature of the defendant's conduct, meaning the activity, the conduct of the defendant is so egregious that punitive damages must also then be significant. Punitive damages, rather, are the means by which a defendant may be punished for the egregious or outrageous nature of his conduct and deterred from conducting himself in a similar manner in the future. So punitive damages, compensatory damages are meant to make whole, or as close to as possible, the person for the damage done. The punitive damages are, now we're going to punish the defendant. Now, while they are paying compensatory damages to the plaintiff, that is to address some of what was said and to help rectify some of the damages. Punitive is because you've been a twat, now we're going to punish you. Punitive, punish. Let's see. They are the exception rather than the rule. They may be awarded only when a plaintiff proves by clear and convincing evidence that the defendant acted with actual malice, gross negligence, which evidence is a willful, wanton, or reckless disregard for the safety of others, or committed actual fraud. They are the exception rather than the rule. So you're not always going to get punitive damages. Not always. It usually has to be an outlier, right? So we saw that, for example, in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case. Amber Heard, the punitive damages are pretty substantial. And it was because it was found that Amber Heard had acted so negligently. Amber Heard had acted in a way to intentionally hurt Johnny Depp so maliciously that the court, the jury decided you need to be punished for it. Because you knew what you were doing was wrong. You knew you were lying. You did it anyways. The egregious nature of Yax's false statements warrants punitive damages. Yax's outrageous accusation that Andreacchio contributed to a child's death likely meets the definition of malice. I think it does. I think that is malicious. Unless you have proof, right? Actual evidence. Actual evidence that Rae Andreacchio was a proximate cause of her child's death. That is fucking malicious. I know that if one of Karen's children, God forbid, committed suicide, I'm just going to say it, committed suicide, and then somebody turned around and said, I think Karen had something to do with it. There's part of me that wants to say that Karen would be flabbergasted. She would be destroyed by the accusation. She's a narcissist, but she's also a mother. Maybe a terrible mother, but a mother nonetheless. And I want to believe, okay, that a mother would not be that bad, despite all the cases that say otherwise, that mothers can be actual pieces of shit. Andrea Yates, for example, Casey Anthony, right? We obviously have plenty of cases that show that mothers can be shit, but I want to err on the side of having hope that Karen is not like Andrea Yates. Not saying that she is. As far as I know, she hasn't drowned any of her children in the fucking bathtub. But I want to believe that. I want to believe that if that were said, she would drink more wine than she already does to try and get away from that pain. I want to believe that. Okay, that's me. I'm holding out hope. Maybe it's really stupid. I'll agree with that. Maybe it's really fucking naive of me to have that position. I don't know. I'm loving this medication. Jesus Christ. It's bad. All right. Let's see. But at a minimum warrants punitive damages because it was made with reckless disregard for the rights of others. The court says punitive damages as $165,000, which I believe is roughly 50% of the compensatory damages. The last issue is attorney's fees. Counsel seeks $11,000 in reasonable attorney's fees, which is calculated by taking his hourly rate and multiplying it by the number of hours he conservatively expended on this case. I don't know what his hourly rate is. I don't know the number of hours he did. I believe it was like 6 hours. I think it was 6 hours was what they said for the hearing that they were awarded attorney's fees on. And they got like 900. So I think it's like $1.50 per hour, I think. I could be wrong. I don't know. But I don't know what it is, but they got $1,000 in attorney's fees. And that's conservative, by the way. That's he went through and was like, okay, we're going to mark this off. We're going to mark this off. Even though I did it, we're going to mark it off, right? Because we don't want to come in and go, hey, judge, you do the math. Because then we'll probably get like nothing. For these reasons, a default judgment shall issue this day. It shall be comprised of $325,000 in compensatory damages, $165,000 in punitive, and $11,000 in reasonable attorney's fees, with interest run on the total at the applicable federal rate. And again, that turns out to $501,000 with an annual rate of 5.36%. So ordered this 20th day of July in the year of our Lord 2023. Signed, Carlton W. Reeves, United States District Judge. There you go. That, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the case. It's been a while. This has been going on for years. Been going on for years. Because Karen's the one who's been pushing it off. She's the one who's been a pain in the ass. Boom. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you fucking go. So, $501,000, ladies and gentlemen. $501,000. Not a long stream. Because it was 6 fucking pages. That's it. 6 pages to get to this point. Find out Karen Yax will be paying quite a bit of money. Now, again, allegedly, she plans to file bankruptcy. Gonna do fucking nothing for her. Can't discharge it. It's sad. Wise up and face it. Not hard. You know, I agree. If she had made the case, she probably could have gotten away. She probably could have gotten out of it, but she didn't. She didn't. Why would you not fight it? Make your case that jurisdiction doesn't apply. Make your fucking case. She didn't do it. She relied on, I live in Michigan, therefore you have no jurisdiction over me. Ignoring other things that, could have established it, right? Ignoring things that could have established it. She probably could have gotten a cheap attorney in Mississippi to file the motion to dismiss and maybe gotten out of it there. Make her refile in Michigan, where now you're in your home court. I don't know. Maybe she could have done that. She didn't. And here you are. So, you guys, that's the end of this. As far as we know, this right here is the end of it. We're done. In theory. The next part of this saga is collecting the money. Good luck, Rae. Good fucking luck. I'm not sure how they're going to do it. Is she going to now hide all her money in her husband's accounts? Probably not going to work. Probably not going to work. But hey, what are you going to do? Thanks for tuning in, guys. Enjoy your weekend. We're supposed to get thunderstorms soon. And I'm still probably going to stream a little bit on the gaming channel on Rumble. Because why the fuck not? So, enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekends. I'm Spectre, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for watching.